A few weeks back, I did a video about money. If you haven't seen it, I'd advise you to watch it first. Title was called Money and the Phoenix. Since then, I've decided it would be a good idea to elaborate on the money topic further. So here we go, part 2. I said that money could also be described as man-hours, due to the fact that everything we consume is already here. It's just a case of getting it out of the ground or sea. I'll now elaborate on that further. What we have within those man-hours is indirect or direct man-hours, better referred to as indirect or direct production. The likes of professional sports, theatre, music, entertainment, also selling second-hand items such as boats, cars, houses, and so on, could be managed within the category of indirect production or as an extra category. Indirect production would be the likes of office work, banking, cleaning, advertising, teaching, servicing, travel, policing, healthcare. Direct production is the physical hands-on process of a usable product somewhere within the production chain. Both are an important part of living standards in the modern world. Indirect production is a part of the production process that should get more political and community attention. If we look at indirect production from a communal viewpoint, it is making us collectively poorer, whether that wealth is in time off or monetary. We collectively only have so many realistic man-hours to spend. The more one person has to spend, the less another will have to spend. The difference between the haves and have-nots of these man-hours is ginormous. So large, if it was our young children creating this, we would be giving them a good talking to. I use the term realistic as it's important to work to live, not live to work, which I realise goes against the desires of those in the shadows that choose who runs the country. The indirect areas that collectively make us poorer are the likes of professional sports, which I don't agree with, although no issue with semi-professional, like it used to be, where athletes, coaches, managers, physios, and so on have a job. They work, say, 35 hours on average a week, but get perks like travel. I am sure the entertainment would come down, entertainment prices would come down, and there would be more production. Many would say performance levels wouldn't be as high without the extra training, therefore the games wouldn't be as entertaining. In my opinion, you wouldn't notice any difference, as what makes a good game is simply how evenly matched the sides are. With regards to advertising, governing the amount a company can spend, say a percentage of their turnover or their profits, will also help, as advertising will be chewing through a lot of our man-hours without the production of anything wanted or needed. Also teaching. There are all sorts of courses these days which will take society nowhere, removing our collective man-hours both from teachers, students, and everything that comes along with that. Like cleaners, grounds people, building and maintenance people, the list goes on and on. Eliminating some of this would make us all richer, providing selfish greed wasn't a factor, and everything was managed with maturity. This is what I'd consider fine-tuning of an economy. With many heads thinking from this perspective, we could minimise on this indirect production in many areas. It would be of benefit to the masses. Something worth noting is that we are spending a lot of our man hours competing against each other. It's not hard to find a number of businesses of the same service within a stone's throw away from each other. None of them operating at full capacity, all advertising and regularly twiddling their thumbs. Then there's all the other costs like building and servicing the buildings. I'd now like to declare the point to this video is simply to bring about a deeper understanding from part 1 on how everything really does just boil down to man hours. We only have a certain amount to spend every week. Yes, this perception has communist overtones. I am aware that many feel these globalists/Luciferians are communist. I have to disagree, although it's understandable how that viewpoint has come about. They're not interested in communism as communism is everyone working together for themselves and their community, more of a service to others than to self. Their ultimate goal is absolute slavery, which would become apparent in the future if they have their way, which they won't. The question, which I'm now sure will be wondered, is do I agree with communism? Parts of it, yes. I would class a minimum wage policy as communistic. But I also agree with parts of capitalism. There's no law saying the two economic ideologies can't both be fused together for optimum results. I use the word economic because as far as I'm concerned, that's all they are. I use the word economic because as far as I'm concerned, that's all they are. I say this as I've heard people including atheism as a factor of communism. If I'm to be honest, I lean more towards communism, but I feel they should both be used. I feel it's important to acknowledge there is a lot of grey area between the two, and everyone may view the same aspects in a different category. For me, it isn't capitalism or communism that's of great significance. It's who's in control and what they're really wanting to achieve. Providing everything stays on track, my next video will be on the alphabet community. That description is not meant to offend, only to sum up.